Hello, I'm Patricia McNeely from Twin Flames Merge. I'm a Blu-ray twin flame from Chicago, Illinois. I hope you're doing well. So this year, there's a lot of questions from people about what's going on in the world. There's one word that could describe it, and it is called Ascension. But I also like to couple that with there's rebuilding, there's remodeling, there's renovation, there's restoration, and it needs to incorporate love. So some of the things that we've seen over the past year has been people are very focused on getting healthier. Many things are coming out of the woodwork. Soulmates come out of the woodwork. Things are happening. But in the bigger picture, this is about ascension. And it's not just ascending some people. It goes in waves where there's like what I'd call it is batches of people. Like this batch is ready, they move here. This batch is next, and they move here, and so on and so on. Because there is a plan here for this. Now, people are intended to be with someone who cares about them. And that also is a part of the ascension, because many people are very accustomed to focusing outward and attending to other people's needs before their own. And other people who attend to their own needs, sometimes they get called a narcissist, sometimes they are a narcissist. Sometimes they're really not a narcissist. They're just looking out for themselves and saying no when they need to say no. And it's misunderstood by people who may be afraid of being rejected or have been rejected, or it's the 10th rejection or the 100th rejection. And it just comes off as basic narcissism, even if it isn't. It's just the straw that broke the camel's back. And why? And what does a person do? And how do we feel this, and how do we sense it? And what do you do when you have another person not only attached to you, but connected to you? That gets tough, because now there's two, and you're wondering, how do I do justice to myself and make sure I'm doing the right thing? You see, right there, it demands accountability. How do I do the right thing for myself and for someone who is attached to me, who I think loves me? And I'm going to go with maybe they love me, even though I have nothing to show for it right now. Yeah, that's a lot of us, because the majority of people just simply have to get rid of a lot of stuff in order to get that preparation for the next part of it, okay? You came here seated with something, which is why people will say, you have everything inside you. Doesn't always feel like that every time, does it? In fact, a lot of times it doesn't feel like it at all. But it's actually true, except we misunderstand it because we think of it as fortitude or willpower. It's not that at all. It's your light body. That's what's inside you. But it stays in a really small state unless you do certain things. And that's part of the reason I wrote this book one, which is about your subtle body connections. So in here I talk about the 5D twin flame union, what it is. I talk about divine masculine and divine feminine, what it is, what it isn't. I talk about how the runner returns and what's really going on there, and what you should do as an individual side of your union to take good care of yourself. In this book, I have a breath primer to help you, and people who get this book have gotten me feedback that says, hey, I had a heart orgasm from that breath exercise in your book. How amazing is that? And what they actually had happen was an opening of the heart chakra connection to a next step. It doesn't stop there. And a heart orgasm, it's still love. So when you're having more love energy getting by the heart, there's miraculous things that can start to happen. But if you're trying to do everything with your memory, the structures inside here, your mind, that is insufficient for the direction you're going. It's not big enough. There's not enough power. There's not enough love force. Not enough, not enough, not enough. And you might get discouraged about that. You don't have to be discouraged. In my book, I talk about the ways that you yourself can do some things that are helpful for yourself. And I do highly recommend this book because this is talking about how new this is. This is also a very new type of ascension that we have never, ever done. No matter where you've been from, no matter what you might remember, this is not an en masse group thing. So if you keep going to see what's the collective, or you get readings that, the title might say, oh, reading for the collective for the divine feminine, or reading for the collective for the divine masculine. It may or may not answer your questions, which is why people will say, we'll take what resonates and leave the rest, right? After a while, some of it just won't resonate with you. You're like, I want answers. I want to know what to do. I want to know what this is all about. What is this twin flame thing anyway? Why did this happen to me? How do I get off this wheel? How do I cut it out? How do I stop and get my life back? I'm sorry I ever heard about this. I want to go back in time. Good news, we are in a retrograde, which helps you with that sense of going back in time and doing things differently. Because if you do the same things all the same time and expect different results, that is the definition of insanity. You're doing the same thing and expecting different results, and you're getting the same results. Do something different. Yet my book, there are many more chapters in here. They're intended to help you. I also do one-on-one sessions, several types. There is coaching. So there's so many questions that come up for people on this journey. What if you have kids? What if your other half has kids? What if you're dreaming certain things? What if you're married? What if the other person that you like is married? And what if they're not your person? Should you even continue? Well, the short answer is yes, you should continue for yourself, because even if that's not your person, you need to clear yourself away from them. I do that in the session. And you get instructions on how to continue it. How do you stop obsessing about certain things? Okay. Check out my classes, because it takes more than one thing to stop that, because it's usually been embedded pretty good. And there's a reason that people have OCD, ADHD, they have mildly addictive behaviors, they suffer from impulse control, they get triggered. Okay, the technique in my book is intended to help you get to that next level where the triggers start to diminish, and that you're actually able to help yourself with my twin flame body modality to smooth it out and shift it and keep it shifting so that it keeps going. And when I say going, it means it's going in the right direction that you want it to, where you feel like you got in a car and you're driving and you're putting those things in your rearview mirror and it gets smaller as you drive away. That's closure. That's the benefit of being in certain retrograde energies and in certain lunar energies. Lunar energies can and will affect everybody. That's the pull of the water in your body from the moon, and just like it does with the tides. But it's much more amplified now, much more amplified. It's more noticeable. So if you would like to get a jump start on your year, check out my book. The link is below, and I highly recommend it. And or have a session. Have a session. There are several types, and you could check it out. If you have really heavy duty stuff, I have a session for that, and you can read about it. If you have questions, if you're contemplating other things such as a breakup, you really need to know. Here's something I want to let people know about. You may be hanging on for dear life or think you have to because, quote, that's what, readers say, or that's what, you think the divine feminine or the divine masculine should do. You need to focus on you. That's number one. And number two, involve yourself in your own ascension, twin flame ascension process, which involves a brand new light body. You don't just have 7 chakras, you have several more. The technique in my book helps to get some of those open, and you have to maintain it. Once they start opening, the ball starts. You have to continue keeping up with it. Otherwise, you'll feel like you're just lethargic, bobbing in the water. There are things to do to keep it moving so that it's much more seamless for you. If you're accustomed to seeing things that, tell you this is the way it is, red flag, because a lot of people think, oh, there's the, running stage, and then there's this. That's all actually going to be in the past. This is what's new. It is phase 1 of your ascension, not phase 7 of ditching the old paradigm. Okay. And people take it quite literally, where they will say, like, well, I'm on the 7th stage. That means 1 more month. That doesn't mean that at all. Debunk those myths from the head, because it may sound satisfying to your head, but it's misinformation. It's not accurate, and you're going to start to see and feel the difference. I can tell you from my own personal experience that it took me about 4 years. I have it packed down to about a 2-year period. And for the first part, it's going to take 8 months to a year. So I highly recommend that you get started. There are the natural effects of when you do this, which is increasing your intuition, increasing your discernment, giving yourself more higher level love experiences, putting things behind you with with a real full closure, with a sense that you've done it properly and you can literally put it behind you. And there's other things that come up, things like forgiveness, rebuilding trust, building the love up again, trust in men, trust in women. So if you ever said to yourself, I couldn't stop thinking about her. I mean, it was like an obsession. I can't do this. I can't function. It feels like I have to be together. I can't breathe. Okay, right there, red flag. Time to get parts of you open so that it doesn't feel so critical or life or death for you, because love really doesn't feel like that. Real love makes you feel like you've been, it's a balm to your spirit. That's what real love feels like. So thanks so much for watching. Please check the links below. Let me help you in a one-on-one session. I have so many educational materials to help you get where you need to go, because this part is very important if you want to avoid, kind of falling into karma more. Because even though we're officially concluded with karma, people will still be doing karmic things. You want to be able to, do those quantum leaps up and out of it. So check it out. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.